So if you're pregnant in particular, you don't want to do the breath retention because you are bringing oxygen to that baby. So you can do this practice, but you just don't do the retention. And if you're feeling any other kind of health issues, just you can just practice it completely without the breath retentions, or you can make those breath retentions shorter. So the traditional way I learned it was 4 inhale, hold 16 counts, and then exhale on 8 counts. Welcome to your practice today. We are going to begin with alternate nostril breathing practice. And there's a few ways that you can sit for this practice. If you would like to sit in thunderbolt pose, and I'll just turn, you can put something on your feet to sit like that so the shins are long, so you're sitting on those heels. You can add, a little pillow underneath if that feels okay in your feet and your ankles. You can also take 2 blocks, which this is a really nice way to sit. If you have 2 blocks, you can put them together and sit like that, or I'll turn around and you can sit like this. And that gives you a nice support in the spine and the sit bones. Now, if you have trouble with your sitting on your knees and shins, you always can do easy cross legs. And again, you have all of these, if you have any props at all, you can just sit in easy cross legs. You can also, sometimes it's very nice to put support under your knees like that. I should kind of show the whole thing. So you sit on that blanket or block or pillow or cushion, and you can put some cushions under your knees if you're having trouble there. So there's many ways to sit comfortably. I can demonstrate the hand mudras. So the right hand, you're going to bend the pointer and the middle finger in, and so that your thumb can go to your right side nostril and your other 2 fingers can go to the left side nostril. Some people practice having those fingers on the third eye. So you can play with having those fingers on the third eye, or you can just fold them in. And the other hand is in this mudra, thumb and first finger, and the fingers open and the palms up. So you're just going to start with, this is a nice breath that really balances out the inhale. It's supposed to balance out the sides of your brain and actually bring some more integration in, and it extends your exhale. We're going to try to do a 4 count inhale, then a pause, and that pause is supposed to be actually, or I learned it as a 16 count pause, but we may not hold it that long. And then we do an 8 count exhale. And I may give you an option to lengthen the exhale and the inhale towards the end. We'll just see how we go. But of course, just do what you can. So when we take an inhale and exhale and then inhale, you're going to close the right nostril first and inhale through the left. So that's how we begin. So you can either keep your eyes open so you can watch my demonstrations, or you can yourself just close your eyes and just tune into your breath. Just notice what you notice, where it's moving in your body. And you could also just notice the quality of your thoughts and whether they're connected into the body or you're feeling like you're doing a bit of planning. And then just take an inhale and an exhale, and an inhale, and then take an exhale and close off your right nostril with the thumb and inhale on your left on 1, 2, 3, 4, and then close off the left and take the pause. If you'd like, you can focus on the third eye chakra in the pause. And then you're going to lift the thumb and exhale on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale on the right on 1, 2, 3, 4. Close off the nostril, take the pause. See if you can really relax the right shoulder and the elbow pointing down so you've really relaxed that arm. Exhale on the left on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale on the left on 1, 2, 3, 4. Close it off, retain the breath. Exhale on the right on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale on the right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Close it off, retain the breath. Exhale on the left on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale on the left on 1, 2, 3, 4. Close it off, retain the breath. Exhale on the right on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale on the right on 1, 2, 3, 4. Close it off, retain the breath. Exhale on the left on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale on the left on 1, 2, 3, 4. Close it off, retain. And you can feel those bones, like right where your nostril is, and you can just press that skin down to close it off. Exhale on the left on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale on the right on 1, 2, 3, 4. Close it off, retain the breath. Exhale on the left on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale on the left on 1, 2, 3, 4. Close it off, retain the breath. Exhale on the left, right on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale on the right on 1, 2, 3, 4. Close it off, retain. Make sure you're keeping that right shoulder relaxed. Exhale on the left on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale on the left on 1, 2, 3, 4. Close it off, retain. Exhale on the right on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale on the right on 1, 2, 3, 4. Close it off, retain. Exhale on the left on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then slowly release the hand down Just notice how your breath is with your nostrils. Notice your body sensations. And notice the quality of your mind. Is there a little bit of a calmer state or not? Like, I didn't really fully practice because I was guiding, but I could still feel when we finished that my nostrils felt really open and that I was breathing into both nostrils when we finished. So that's one of the beauties about yoga, is how we shift the breath and use the breath. However, you can create, once you get the hang of it, you can actually lengthen it and do like a 5, and then I think it's 5:15. Wait a minute, no, 5:20 and 10 exhale. Anyway, so there's ways that you can play with the practice as you have more experience with it. You can just come forward a minute just to um, release the legs a little bit, and then you can come back to sitting on the blocks, or if you have something else you want to sit on, you can. The nice thing about sitting high like this is I still get that length through my spine, and I can really press my shins down, and I don't feel so much weight pressing into my ankles. Although I'm going to scoot back on my mat because it's nice to feel even surface in this. And actually, I'll show you another way with this pose where you can have a blanket or 2 blankets, and I'll show you this direction. And you can sit with the toes just off the blanket and put the blocks here. And that can be really helpful and softer for the shins, especially if you're having some, discomfort in the ankles and the shins. And you can also roll things under the shins. So since I'm kind of liking how this feels, I'm just going to go ahead and do it. But if you don't have any of this stuff at home, I mean, you could always fold a towel as well. If you don't have any props at home, sit easy cross-legged. But you want that lower body to give you that support in the spine. You don't want to be just like dropping your weight down. So that's why we really engage those shins. So we're going to do a couple of arm things. So we're going to first interlock the fingers. And if you know you have a habit, just check which finger's on top. And then press it forward. And then inhale overhead. And you may not go all the way up, but you can slowly work on what the range in your shoulders are here. And this is where, if I was in person, I could go around and take my hands and really widen the space between the shoulder blades by wrapping the arm in. So that feels really nice too. But most of us don't have anybody at home to give us that feedback in the body. And then exhale the arms down, and then change the crossover. So you want to put your opposite finger on top, press the hands forward, and then inhale the arms up. And you can also, hopefully you can feel the core support here as well, and the length coming through your side body. And then slowly release the arms. And then inhale the arms up into, sideways. And, you can actually get quite a bit of arm work here, just, doing this up to shoulder height, where you really bring that tricep in. And then we're gonna bring the right elbow under the left. And then if you have difficulty bringing the hands together, the most important bit is to try to get the elbows on top of each other. You can put the hands onto the shoulders here, and you can just slowly lift a little bit in the elbows to get a bit of stretch. You can bring the hands here. You're just trying to lift the elbows in front of you so that your chest does not close. You want to keep lift in that chest in the Guru Dasana arms. And then bring the arms out to the side again. And this time bring the left elbow under the right. And again, if you need to go here and put the hands on the shoulders, that's cool. Or you bring elbows together, get the lift here. And then release the arms. And again, you want to come forward to release the legs. And you can move the blocks. And because we've been seeing what's really nice to go into afterwards is tucking the toes under, walking the hands out, and then bringing those sit bones back to get a nice stretch through the feet. And then bend the elbows together, hands up. You can bring the forehead on the forearms and get a little bit more stretch between the shoulder blades. You can also walk the elbows forward a little bit and get more of a stretch. And then release that and walk the hands forward. Bring the shins down, and then you're going to tuck the toes under and come into a downward facing dog. Really lifting the front thighs so that you use your legs to support the length through the head and the tail, and you're pressing through those hands to engage into those shoulder blades. And then come down into big toes together, knees wide. And then inhale, coming up to all fours. And tuck the toes under and go into a downward facing dog. And then slowly start to walk those feet towards the hands. And if you need to bend the knees, you can bend the knees. And see if you can hold on to your elbows and your head is like where the forearms are. So the arms aren't close to the body or too far away, but it's like you're releasing the head and the neck into those forearms. And then if you're okay in the hamstrings, you can slowly straighten the legs. If not, you can just hang out here for a few breaths with the knees soft and bent. Then you can, if you're okay in the hamstrings, you can slowly lift the elbows up. Otherwise, you can roll up through the spine. And now that you're standing, if you're holding the elbows, you can just really lengthen the elbows up and feel the stretch through the shoulders. And it might be nice also to try to press the shoulders back a little bit without sticking your lower ribs out too much. So really supporting this with your abdominals. And then you can slowly bring the arms down next to you. And standing at the front of your mat, we'll stand in Tadasana to start with, mountain pose. And then we'll slowly balance on the right foot, bring the left foot into wherever the foot comes without lifting it with your hands to tree pose. Hands can come into prayer. So the foot might be down on the calf or down on the ankle. And then you're just going to slowly bend the front leg, extend the leg behind you, and you're going to straighten the legs so that you can pivot around into Yatita Trikonasana. And from here, you can slowly open the arms, extend through the arms. You can place a hand on the thigh or the shin, or you can just have the arms open and see if you can just really feel into the powerfulness in the legs. When you come out of it, you bring those hands back into prayer pose. Slowly bend the front leg, bring the back leg into tree pose, and then bring that foot down. So it's always useful to play with different ways to balance the body and put poses together. And then standing on the left foot, bring the right foot up into wherever it can go for tree pose. Hands come into prayer. And then you bend the front leg and slowly extend the back foot. So in this case, my back is to you, but you're leaning into that tree pose, really using the feet, lengthening the sides, and either you can put the bottom hand on the thigh or the shin, or you can just really expand through the arms and feel how the legs support you. And then you can bring the hands into prayer position, bend the front leg, slowly inch the back foot into tree, and then release that foot down, hands down. See if you can feel how your foot spreads and supports your ankle up through your lower legs and through your knees, thighs, pelvis, rib cage, shoulders, upper chest, head and neck. And then slowly stand on your right foot and bring the left foot up. Bring the hands into prayer pose. And then bending the front leg, slowly bring that left foot back. And as you're bending through the front thigh, you can put your forearm here for Pajbakonasana. And you can either bring the arms straight up or up and over. Or if you feel like it, you can even bring it behind you and try to find that thigh, and then that gives you some rotation in the upper part of the shoulder. And then slowly bring the hands back to prayer as you turn the body around to inch the back foot into tree pose. And then bring that foot down, hands down, or arms down, that length through those fingertips. And then standing on the left foot, bringing the right foot into tree, hands into prayer, bending the front leg, extending that back foot long, and then bending the front thigh, putting the forearm down. Top arm can come up or up and over or around, and trying to hold that thigh. And then slowly bring the hands back to prayer, pivoting around, bringing the back foot into tree pose, placing the foot down and the arms down. A couple of breaths here. And then, standing on the right foot, bring the left foot into tree with the hands in prayer. Then you're going to bend the front leg, take the back foot, but you're going to keep the foot turned in, and it's about 3 feet apart here. And then you have a choice here. You can bring the hands into reverse prayer pose, or you can hold the elbows, or you can reach and grasp the fingers, interlace the fingers, and then inhale, lift the chest up, come down, and then you can get some more stretch between the shoulders. So we're just going to go halfway down. And then you come up by really pulling those hands down behind you. And then as you bend the front leg to bring the foot in, you bring the hands around into tree pose. And then placing that foot down, hands down. Slowly stand on the left foot. Bring the right foot up. Hands into prayer. And then you take that right foot long behind you, the toes turn in so the hips are facing forward. Again, you can have the hands holding the elbows or reverse prayer, or if you did the other side, you can grasp interlock the fingers behind, lift the chest, and then coming halfway down. Or you could just be here. You could just be as high as you need to be. Just depends on your legs. And then inhale, let the arms pull you up. Release the hands back into prayer. Bend the front leg. Bring the right foot into tree. And then just release the foot. And a couple of breaths into Tadasana. And then come down. We'll come into sitting in easy cross legs. Again, if you need to sit on a blanket or a cushion, anything, if you have trouble with the knees, you can place more under the knees. You can have a bunch of towels to practice with and roll up the towels and put them under the knees. But I'm going to first just bring my legs out into Dandasana, staff pose. And it's really nice to press the hands next to the hips to find that verticality in the head and the tail here. And the chest is lifted. And then you can bend the knees here and then place the left shin behind the right shin. And you want to keep flexion in the feet so that you're not sickling the feet. Sickling the feet would be like rolling them in. So we're trying to teach the body or remind the body sometimes not to be lazy or not to get into habits that might impact our walking and our everyday life. So then just place the hands on the thighs, and you can use your hands as weight, weight to really press the thighs so that you're quite grounded. You can also bring the hands closer to the hips and really press down. Hello, Gandalf. You decided to join us tonight. You really want to feel like you're on those sit bones as well. And then you can slowly start to walk those hands forward. And once you get, if you can get the hands on the floor, you can lift the chest and the head a little bit and then start to walk further. And you can do that a few times. And then slowly walk the hands up. And then take the left hand to the right knee and bring the right hand behind you. This is where it's useful if you're on a block. You can actually put that hand on the block. And then if you press the hand on that thigh close to the knee, you can get a little twist. And that's gonna, that's where you really wanna roll that shoulder down so that you're not doing this. You wanna really roll that down, and you might get a really good stretch across the shoulder blades a little bit. Maybe a little bit of twist in the thoracic spine up here. Then you can slowly come around to sitting again. And then bend the knees up. Place the left in front of the right. And again, begin with hands on the thighs or even hands closer into the hips to give you some weight to really. That's another thing we often do in yoga is we do have, and I have some weight sandbags that are great as weights, but we really use our own body as weight to strengthen our bones and our muscles. And then you can slowly start to walk the hands forward. And again, if it's hard to reach the floor, it's when you can put a chair if you need it or blocks under your hand. And again, you can inhale, lift the chest forward. And if this is as far as you can go, you just stay there. But you can always test out whether you can walk the hands a little further, lift the chest. So it's interesting. It's a gradual process, but the key is finding that edge where you feel comfort, but you also feel a bit of stretch. You don't want to be holding your breath. You want to be able to breathe into this pose, into the stretch, into the length, wherever you are in this pose. You might be needing to breathe into the lower part of the sacrum or the side body back there. You might be needing to breathe into those thigh sockets, or really through that rib cage, spreading the back rib cage. And then slowly walk the hands up, back to the thighs. And then take the right hand to the left knee and the left hand behind you. And you can give a little press into that thigh. Give yourself a little bit of a twist. Flipping over the left shoulder. As long as you're not leaning back, you still want to be, straight up and down in this pose. Slowly come back around. And then find what you need for Shavasana today. You can have the legs up on the chair. You can have feet up the wall if you've got supports for that pose. Whatever works for you today. And inversions are really important, which is going upside down. It's just that often we need some good supports. Blankets, chairs, belts, things to help us if we want to do practice shoulder stand, or we might need a wall if we want to practice forearm balance or headstand or handstands. I mean, I'm not set up with a good wall to play with some of that stuff right now, but one day maybe we'll do some of that. And whatever pose you're in now, just check in with your breath. Just notice how the breath is moving into the nostrils. And did you notice any difference in the practice after starting with that breath practice? Did you find the breath practice we started with, alternative nostril breathing, balancing or calming you down, or any other quality? And then just notice how the toes are. Can you soften the pinky toe, the next toe, the middle toe? I guess it would be called the pointer toe, and the big toe. You feel each toe softening. And then what about your fingers? Can you feel the pinky finger softening? The ring finger softening? The middle finger softening? The pointer finger softening? And then the thumb softening? throat softens. Back of the neck softens and lengthens. Base of the head softens. Your scalp softens. The forehead widens and softens. Your temples are softening. Space between the eyebrows widens and softens. Your eyeballs rest in the eye socket. Cheeks are softening. Your jaw softens. And your chin is softening. And then slowly begin to reawaken your fingers, your toes. Deepening your breath, bringing a big stretch into your body. And then you can roll to your right side and come up to sitting. Namaste. Have a beautiful day, and you can take that yoga, that breath practice with you. It's a wonderful practice if you're feeling stuffy in your nose and you can't breathe very well. It might be difficult to do, but I often find that it really helps. It helps me open up the breathing in the nostrils if I'm feeling a bit congested. So it's a really good practice. Thank you for coming. Have a beautiful day.